All right, folks, we are back. We are hopping right into this. We've got the replay going. We are good to go. Looks like we've got our matches going right here. I'm friendly neighborhood shotcaster Sharogan, and I've got actually joining me right now. We've got the war leader once again on the caster's desk. You ready for this game to go?
Yeah, finally. It took a minute. Got a little bit into by Riot Games, but that's okay because we're here now and we've got a heck of a game to watch. So just to throw back briefly to our draft discussion, we talked about how Team A has a little bit harder of a draft to execute, but they've got monstrous late game scaling. PTP have a range advantage and maybe some tank advantage. Some scaling on their side, but not quite the side of Team A, and we're seeing some scuffling in the early game.
Yeah, and that tank advantage can basically be negated entirely by if you're a tank shredder. So it could be that front line just gets absolutely demolished before it even has a chance to kind of build a wall to protect the carries. So that might be something we'll be expecting to see Jaffe do. Jaffe, a returning FWF player, very seasoned, kind of is what to look out for. I already like they forced Ornn out of lane, hiding out in this tri-brush, waiting for them to try and get another engage.
Yeah, it is tricky. They did sneak a ward. I actually can't tell what team's ward that is up into that top side of the jungle. If that is blue team, then successful invade for them. Those wards are basically what you're looking for on those invades. Try and figure out where the enemy jungler is starting. Get that information that will help you plan out your strategy for the early game. Yeah, and we're gonna see the buff spawn here.
And it does look like we got a Sejuani doing a top-down clear, trying to help ease some of that tension in that bot lane from that Sivir damage and whatnot, trying to get an early kill for the Tristana. Definitely going to be something to be watching out for. I'm expecting to see Drake control kind of in the favor of PTP, just because of Sejuani's clear being as strong as it is, and just able to contest a little bit more with the Karthus. But we'll have to end up seeing exactly how XT matches up against Gandalf's.
Yeah. I really think that sort of level 1 spread was really interesting. From the side of PTB, we had the bot lane fake a leash, try and make it unclear which camp the jungler is starting. Unfortunately, the Fiora's ward is going to catch that out, so Team A should know that Sejuani maybe isn't currently on the bot side of the map, but pathing towards that bot side of the map, and was able to hide out in that top lane and get some early damage out just based on having the Karthus solo clear, who is doing quite well in terms of that clear speed. Already cleared 3 camps.
Yep, Tadu's runching right in there, just getting a parry block, blocking a lot of that damage. Fiora doing a great job to make sure that they don't end up taking that brittle stack. Good job right there.
Yeah, we're gonna see Tristana is going to naturally push in this bot lane. It's one of the strengths and weaknesses of the champion is that you have a lot of wave control in the sense that you can shove the wave in, but you don't have a lot of wave control in the sense that you can choose when to stop shoving that wave in, so that bot wave is going to naturally crash. Meanwhile, on the top side, opposite story, Khan, looking for an engage, not going to find too much damage off of it.
Nope, Guardian proc right there as well means that the Sivir damage is going to get blocked for the most part. Again, I think we're just going to see a lot of bouncing back. It does look like PTP is coming out on the bad side of some of these trades. They're just getting their health bar chipped away. We do have Karthus coming in right now. Rakan got a nice engage, good double knockup, means that it's going to be a slow disengage from the side of PTP. Karthus dropping that wall does not actually make a fine target. However, we are seeing first blood for the Sejuani in the top lane. Karthus being brought
oh, no way.
And that is going to be a dead Braum from the auto attack by Sivir. Ignite does come on to Karthus, allowing him to make it a 1-for-1. So that is very well played. We are already seeing a 1-2 spread on this kill board, and that is going to be in favor of PTP, but you know, that's only the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I really like the play from the side of PTP. I was really worried there at sort of the outset of it. Sejuani was getting her first gank off at the same time as the Karthus, but you kind of understand why Karthus is not very known for ganking there. We see how that went in that bottom side. Really wasn't able to get that much damage out onto a Braum that was already quite chipped, and ends up taking lethal himself. Braum looking for it, not going to find anything. Anyway, meanwhile, Gandalf's in that top side on the Sejuani, able to get that kill onto the Fiora. Critical and giving Ornn that time to scale up. And some reprieve from the tank shredding nonsense.
Yeah, we're going to be needing to see XT place those walls of pain a little bit better in order to make sure that these engages happen in the manner that they want to in order to keep the enemy laners from escaping. Pro DH, in the meantime, we're looking at this CS board. Mid lane is just kind of doing mid lane things, just farming up, kind of keeping each other steady, and we're looking at pretty nice spreads across the board in the terms of CS.
Yeah, the main disadvantage right now for PTP is in that top lane, but it's a pretty big wave. We're going to have to see how much of it Fiora can deny off of today is on the Ornn, and see how much of that CS gets picked up, as Fiora is walking into the river, which gives Ornn a bit of a moment to grab that, but it should be pushing into his tower and should be relatively safe under that tower to be able to pick up that CS, and then the CS will look a lot more even.
And right now we're already seeing Tedus getting a nice riposte, getting a number of these vital procs up. That was 3 vitals, I think. They were able to get very, very quickly. That is going to cause this wave to hit this tower. We do see Tedus has got the vital in a very opportune spot for themselves in order to keep from getting it hit. We do see that it is Ocean Drake coming up first, which means that it's going to be some nice bit of healing for that first Drake to pick up. Like I said, I do expect Dragon to be controlled over on the side of PTP. So it's going to be interesting to see how Ah is able to arrest that from them.
Yeah, for now, though, it is actually Sivir getting that push in on bot lane as Karthus recalls. But Karthus is walking to that top side of the map. And it could be potentially an opportunity for PTP to get that Drake if Team Ah mismanages their back timings here from bot lane. We're going to see the teleport come in mid from the Pro DH on that Victor, just getting back to lane, going to pick up that wave under tower, secure about a full wave's worth of CS advantage against Damaz on the Ahri. And that could be pretty big, as now Ahri's trying to get that back. Actually, is going to end up getting canceled by Damaz in the mid lane, or by Pro DH in the mid lane, so pretty big win. Meanwhile, under tower,
nice knock up by Jaffe, and that is going to be a couple of tower shots, or nice knock up onto Jaffe. That's going to be a couple of tower shots that they take, so that's going to be a nice half-health Fiora. They're kind of not quite able to get in there to get those plates. Good zoning by Tedus, able to keep them off of this wave. Just kind of farming themselves up, and we do see right now PTP has moved in onto this Ocean Drake, and they have started it up.
Yeah, meanwhile, it's going to be a run on the bot lane. Oh, Jaffe!
Oh, no, the ultimate is out. That is the grand challenge, and that is going to be a kill for Jaffe. Too many vitals on that Ornn means that his massive amount of armor and HP is actually a detriment. However, we are going to be seeing the Ocean Drake picked up in return.
Yeah, not a bad trade overall. I tended to value the Drake more than a kill's worth of gold, so it's not so bad. The real disadvantage is going to be missing this wave under tower, and Karthus, being on the enemy Krugs, does set up a potential dive onto the Ornn. Now, does have that Call of the Forge God in, and that might be enough to dissuade the play, especially if you see the Pro DH is actually going to walk up into the area. So really, really good macro from the side of PTP to cover that play and deny it.
Yeah, it seems like they were aware that there's a possibility of Karthus being up there, taking those Krugs and causing that. So Pro going up to protect his laner, smart play. We do see Rift Herald coming up here in the next couple of seconds, which means that it... Ooh, nice engage over here, trying to keep Gandorf from taking those Raptors, which are unreasonably priced, in all honesty. You get way too much gold for them and getting brought exceptionally low by the Rakan. The ultimate's going to come out with a Q from Sivir, means that is going to be a dead boar. That is going to be absolutely terrible right here. This engage, good block by Sundra, using the Braum shield in order to destroy the ultimate. That is very well done, able to protect the Victor at the very least.
Yeah, just Gandorf's going a little too deep. Didn't quite understand the back timings and positionings of Team Ah there. It is going to get caught out on those Raptors. Almost gets out, not quite able to get past that Boomerang Blade. And is going to take him down at the end of the day. So now Team Ah have started to establish themselves a gold lead. And even though they don't have that first dragon, they've got the momentum right now. They're in a really positive spot. I think they have the comp that scales better. And it's going to be up to the team fighting from PTP to really swing the gold back.
And unfortunately, Tato's in a very bad spot, having to just continually reset those vitals, missing out on a lot of CS, a lot of XP. This Fiora has almost got a double lead on them at the moment. Rare Adam is just feeling like a happy turkey right now, as he's just got 2 wards that can easily pick up. Nice bit of gold to go into his pocket. And then this wave is going to be crashing into this top tower. We again see Sejuani kind of pressuring this bot side, just continually focusing on it, but we do see Karthus able to pick up their own Krugs.
Yeah, and notably the bot lane from PTP wasn't base there, and they're going to miss the entire wave on bot lane, so that CS lead is also going to swing in the other direction. Top lane has been a bit...
getting some nice poke right there.
Yeah, but the Ornn's starting to get really tanky, right? We're seeing vitals and vitals and vitals, and today's going in.
Yeah, he tries, but unfortunately that is a nice dash out by the Fiora, able to avoid getting hit by that Call of the Forge. means that is going to be a nice chunky timer that they just don't have to worry about.
Yeah, it's not the biggest deal at the end of the day, though. I don't think you want Ornn in the middle of these fights anyway, and with the Ignite taken up in that top side, not really going to be teleporting in anytime soon, especially for the Dragon, which we still have a few minutes to go on. I don't think that's going to be a big deal at the end of the day. I appreciate seeing that the riposte was on cooldown and going for the play, trying to wrest some control back in this lane, but without that cooldown, it is going to make it a lot harder.
Just a little bit, and unfortunately, we've got the rebound wave pushing back into Jaffe's tower, which is what Jaffe absolutely wants. The Duelist just wants to go in and keep on fighting. We see Sundra right here, Rare Adam playing the Ward War, just trying to take each other's vision out, keep people from being able to see what exactly is going on. And let's do Vanal, just continually pushing this wave as Tristana's do.
Yeah, we're going to see Gandorf's approach this top side. Jaffe going in and getting taken really low. We're going to have to see if Sedge goes in here.
It looks like Sedge is looking for that angle. We got the Glacial Flow going out. The Grand Challenge is thrown, and so is the massive ultimate from Sejuani. Unfortunately, it does not find its target, which means that Fiora is going to be able to get out relatively easily.
If that Glacial Prison hits onto Jaffe, I'm pretty sure that is a dead Fiora walking, so unfortunate miss is going to cost him that play. However, Reprieve for today is in that top lane, going to be able to knock that wave in, get something back up in this top lane. Gandorf moving over to the Rift Herald might even be able to pick up that objective as well.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice bit of damage to be able to put on these towers, get a couple of plates, hopefully, probably looking to crack this mid lane so they can get that Victor roaming around and keep that Ahri occupied in the mid lane. Then we're going to be looking at this card that's probably looking for that Drake coming up here in another minute or so, and then that will be this game basically cracked open. We should be seeing a tower taken down very shortly.
And speaking of that, Tristana finally getting a moment to herself on that bottom tower. Doesn't mean she's going to pick up the plate. Champion is very proficient at doing so due to being able to put bombs on the towers. And as we see right there, 2 plates picked up on just crashing 1 wave. Rare Adam, though, looking aggressive.
Looking exceptionally aggressive, thinking the Braum is away, but unfortunately that does not mean you get to play. They're going, and Braum just completely denying so many auto attacks from the Sivir. The spell shield, though, means that MXL is not knocked up in there. Braum is brought exceptionally low, and unfortunately that is going to mean that they have to disengage. That fight did not go the way that they wanted it to. Looked like it was a little bit of a bait on the side of PTP, but it's still going on. They're still looking.
Yeah, Rare Adam is looking for Gandorf's in that jungle. They're really fighting over this dragon control. I don't think that PTP are going to have the health bars for it. Charm over the wall. That is chunk Vanal.
That is a very big chunk onto Vanal. We have Rare Adam going over the wall, managing to pick up to the 20. The Wall of Pain picks up 3, blocking them in place, meaning they have nowhere to go. The movement speed is just too much. Esports is going in. Ult in with the Ahri, managed to finally pick up that Braum that he's just so tanky. It took them quite a while, and unfortunately that means there's plenty of time for Sejuani to get those auto attacks off, lock them in with the permafrost. ODH in the meantime, just picking things up with the laser beams, taking things out. We got Rare Adam going gold, trying to stay alive. Not going to be able to survive as we see Tristana getting the reset, jumping over the wall once again, jumping onto MXL, getting the auto attacks off, trying to get the final bit of damage with that bomb. That's going to be enough, though. Brought so low. That is pixels of health.
So well played from the side of PTP in that fight. Sundar specifically on the Braum. Oh, you see the call the Forge God going wide in that top lane, but that fight was so well played by PTP. They bait the side of Odd deeper than they have to go to get them off of that dragon, right? I'll walk into that fight with a pretty solid HP advantage, and Sivir's really good at chunking them out, but Rakan runs out of mana very early in the fight, and Braum does a great job soaking so much damage and peeling the Victor and the Tristana so well that there's not abilities, but Rare Adam.
Oh, he's going back in. The Charm is available once again, going quite hard in on that, trying to stop this Dragon take. It's brought really low already. We are getting the permafrost and the spice coming out. That is going to be really, really tight. Rakan is going to steal that Dragon, and that is going to go over to the side of but unfortunately, it's going to cost them a couple of members. We do see that the Sejuani was taken out, as so was Sundra, and that is going to be Proteage taken out as well. We do see a couple of return kills in regards to that, so that ended up going perfectly well. Oh, no, XL pushing his lead too much. Tristana finding that kill. That was too easy.
XT is going to get caught out there, just pushed a little too far forward. You got to understand, you walk into the fight, you win the fight, you get the dragon, but you just gotta back off after that tempo. But speaking of tempo, Dragon, really hard objective to take nowadays. Long gone are the days of the jungle just walking in and soloing it in 30 or so seconds. That Dragon is almost twice as tanky as it used to be, and I think we saw what happened to PTP on that one. They're not able to pick it up. It takes too long for the tanks to just hit at it, and it doesn't get done. Rare Adam, big play to stall long enough to get Demaz to the play and XT to the play, and they're going to pick up the Drake. Overall, very close game so far.
Exceptionally close game. We're like seeing almost no difference in terms of golds. We do have Orin just trying to do what he can in this top lane, just farming it up. Fiora easily got a 40 gold lead on top of him, though. It's funny, I remember the days when I was Warwick and I could just solo Dragon at level 4. I miss those.
Hey, you just need the first 3,000 HP health. You get it at half. You get to half at a much higher HP value, so you deal more damage if you think about it.
This is true. That was a little sus going just around the shield. Braum not quite able to destroy that boomerang blade.
Yeah, and we're gonna see over in this mid lane some scrapping. Overall, the CS has been going the way of Demaz on Ahri in the early game, and that's what you'd mostly expect for the most part. The Pro DH did opt to go first strike instead of the sort of Scorch airy kind of poke early game build that we've seen more victors doing these days. So it makes sense that Ahri would get the CS lead in the early game, but now Pro DH is starting to upgrade some of those spells, and that's when Victor really gets nasty.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely disgusting here shortly. And once again, we see Rare Adam and Braum, Sundra, they're just right here going at it with these ward wars, trying to take out each other's vision. I can't tell you how many times I've seen fights just start because someone placed something down.
Yeah, and XT and Demaz are positioned in that river to try and disrupt, but there's a lot more members of PTP sort of in that direct area. Sundara, though, might be the one getting cut out as we're looking at the top lane, is going to be able to jump out of there just fine. With a little bit more until this Drake comes up. Kind of not sure what they're fighting over at this point. Kind of just fighting to fight at this point. Both teams wanting to stretch their gold lead.
So I feel it's like something we neglected to mention, but neither of the top laners took TP this round. Both, like Fiora is kind of, you expected them to go for the split push, but Orin is just looking to match split push only. The lack of a TP though means that they have not been available for a lot of these fights and have just been trying to survive in lane. Jappy in the meantime has made it very easy for them to do what they want to do. Look at this, we got the ult coming down right now to Tata's being brought so low. That one bucket will proc. That's all Jappy needs to get the kill. Oh, that tower was no safety at all.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that one vital to pop either, but with the stopwatch and inventory, you gotta figure that was about 20 HP from going the wrong way for Jaffe. Almost out of mana as well. Very close, ultimately, in that top side. Now, with the
PTP wants revenge. They're going in on this Fiora hard, but we see Jaffe putting on the fancy feet, jumping all around. We got a TP coming out as Ahri is coming to join this fight. She's going to be looking for an engage. We got Victor right now looking to try and stop that. Drakan has joined as well. Sorry, looks like we got another TP coming in as well. That is going to be kind of spicy coming out right here. We do see a lot of knockups coming at. Looks like we got Ahri trying to find that engage, just can't quite get the damage off. The magic ball's just not quite doing enough. Pro DH being brought so low.
Yeah, and a close fight ultimately goes the way of the team with more teleports. The Summoner Spellbook coming in clutch for both teams, able to give Ornn access to that teleport, which is the Summoner spell that Ornn took this game, has just been on that Summoner Spellbook Ignite for way too long. And ultimately 2 teleports off of Demaz and Rare Adam's Summoner Spellbook going to teleport in to that lane. And
so many spellbooks.
So many spellbooks make for a party in the top lane. Normally it's on the other side of the map, but that's going to be happening shortly with dragons spawning within a minute here. I imagine both teams are going to be jockeying for position around that objective, and we're going to have to see now at this point, do you bring both top laners down to help with the objective now that every TP in the game that could possibly appear, except for the Pro DH, has been spent.
It's going to be a question of whether or not they do that. However, we do have Rift Herald coming up as well, so we could be looking for that. We do have an engage right now. XT being brought very low. They're going to be hit by the lasers being coming out of Victor. That is going to be a nice engage. Concussive blows as well as the Glacial Fissure means that it's going to be a nice disengage right here. But look at this. Karthus is still alive, bringing everyone down. Means that they're going to get a double kill as we just see the Requiem for their dreams be brought to a conclusion, and unfortunately PTP getting absolutely shredded. Tata's trying to find something out of this, going golden, trying to stay alive on this side, but it's just basically deja vu in the opposite direction as Ord is brought down, and that is going to be a shutdown for Ahri.
Yeah, so ultimately, look at the Karthus in this replay, because so much damage gets done by this Karthus, just the E around him, and they're walking into Karthus. Karthus dies in the middle of the team. Already takes someone out, is going to be able to pull off that Requiem. ProDH walks back into that Karthus passive, and that means that all the carry potential of PTP is dead before the tanks can arrive. Now, it does end up picking up the kill on Sivir, which takes a disastrous play to a pretty bad play instead. So you got that going for you, which is nice to get that 350 gold shutdown going over to the side of PTP, so it is something for at least Ornn to get a little tankier. But overall, that play kind of starts to bust the game open, because at this point you have a team that's going to scale to infinity. You have a 3,000 gold lead. Jaffe is free farming on the top side. Multiple outer towers are going to get picked up. An inner tower and top side is going to get picked up. When XT respawns, they're probably going to go straight back to that Drake, start getting those mountain Drake stacked. Any resistances, not that they're going to have a ton, but even those base resistances getting multiplied when you're on against a team with 3 tanks, it can be really devastating.
And like you were just seeing the hyperscaling at work right now, as we were just starting to see Jaffe, like you said, just coming out with the win here. It is interesting that they chose not to pick up those Drake, focusing on taking those towers. It is going to mean that the map is wide open for the side of Team On. It's going to make it even easier for them to pressure this dragon, as there's just no way for PTP to push up to kind of contest it. And we already see now PTP looking to go in on this, but Rakan has already warded it up quite handsomely, and so they're aware of it. Rare Adam just waiting for that engage. He's looking for that side angle.
Yeah, and Jaffe is actually elected to go topside here. We see today is on the Ornn starting to walk towards this Drake. Probably going to have to stall for the Ornn to get there, but Jaffe's still walking up. Now we're going to see Jaffe start to move towards the Drake, so we are probably going to end up with a good old-fashioned 5v5. I would like to see both teams move towards that mid lane and start getting pressure, and it's Jaffe that's going to arrive onto that wave first, and that vision control is going to be big, but Sundara taking a lot of damage.
We see PTP getting forced into the jungle. They're trying to run away, but unfortunately that just pushes them right into Jaffe, who puts the grand challenge onto Braum, which means it's going to be a nice bit of a healing bubble right there, as you can see, Team A is just pelting out so much damage. The Glacial Prison is going to find poor old Fiora, but that is not going to be enough. Rare Adam is going to take down Tatas, and that is going to be a double kill going on to Karthus once again, and a much bigger health pool is available. We do see right there, poor Victor trying to just like slip away. They're aware of him, and it's like, you know what, it's fine. You can go. We're just going to take the dragon instead.
Yeah, it's so tough at this point. The carries from the side of A, which is basically everyone on their team, all have, inflated coffers. They have so many more items than their opponents. The Fiora is starting to stack. The Mana being up even in that top side, and just about every counterpart from the side of A is up at least half an item, and it makes the game so difficult. Now, the extra stats coming in from that Infernal Drake, that Mountain Drake, those are also quite brutal to kick in, and it's going to be really hard to get a foothold in this game, especially with the split pushing power of Jaffe's Fiora, who's been mostly unchecked throughout the game.
There is so much magic pen already on the side of Team A that they basically don't even need to worry. Like, you can build magic resistance if you're PTP, but it's not going to be doing anything. They've got to be building so much health just to try and survive this magic damage.
But they're burning health.
But yeah, exactly. They're burning health. That's exactly. It's you either build health to try and survive, or you build MR that's not going to do anything.
Yeah, nasty combination put up from these 2 item cores from the members of Team A, and as they just get more vision control, allow Jaffe to split push, PTP are going to bring more members to the top side of the map, but they're quickly going to encounter some resistance. Sundara finding some vision.
Trying to find some vision. We do see Tadias. He is able to get hit multiple times by all of those vitals. Fiora just dancing around him. Does manage to get the healing bubble off, which means that they're going to be perfectly fine. Ganondorf is trying to find a angle, but unfortunately it's not going to be anything they can do. We just see the ultimate drop from Karthus. Doesn't quite do enough to get themselves another kill, but it's enough to just force them off of these towers. Yeah,
we're seeing why Karthus was picked so much in Proving Grounds this this time around. The Karthus ultimate does so much damage. Gandorf's, though, not long for this world.
No, he's not going to get knocked up right there. Fiora's just going to dive in, get that nice bit of damage off, get the kill. That is going to be Tristana now trying to find the target. Jaffe looking for that engage, looking to get onto those vitals, finally able to do it, but has to dive under tower. They're going to take a tower shot, but it's not going to be enough because of that red buff that they stole, and they're going to get out. That is just disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, really heroic play by Let's Do Vanal. 1 versus 2, trying to make the play, is able to get that first kill, is able to reset, and almost get the 8-1 Fiora down. Not quite going to be enough, slimmest of margins. And it's going to make it super, I mean, it's already really hard for PTP to really leave their base walls at this point. It's kind of a matter of when do Team AAA get these game-breaking objectives in the Baron. And the Elder Dragon is still at least 12 minutes away. So it's kind of, things are going to get from worse to really worse here, if I had to guess, for the side of PTP, as the gold's going to continue mounting. The Karthus is going to continue dealing more damage on that ultimate. We saw his last Requiem actually did over half of Tristana's health bar. And how do you play a game as a carry in that situation? You just get blown up immediately. And yes, you have 3 tanks on your side, but they're all so far behind. They can't really tank anything. Fiora's doing max health true damage, is finishing that 3rd item, has the Divine Sunder even. He keeps shredding those tanks. There's 2 Leandries, there's a Kraken Slayer. It's tough sledding.
It is exceptionally tough sledding. We don't even have the Fimbulwinter fully built yet. It's still charging up, needs to get a couple more abilities out. And you know, PTP wants those dragons. They want those resistances, but there's just nothing they can do to get them.
Yeah, it's really tough at this point. I think it's going to come down to the Tristana having to make a hero play. Somehow the 3 tanks being able to keep the Tristana alive, but I don't know how you can peel for Tristana through cards at this point. So Dara at risk of getting cut out now.
Oh, look at that. Dark is getting cut out. That is going to be burst down, completely shut down, going over to Victor, getting a lot of damage off from those laser beams in addition to the permafrost. That is a nice combination for PTP. They really like being able to get that chain CC with that damage out. It does mean, though, that they're just forcing Team Op into their own topside jungle. So they're just stealing all of the red buffs, taking all of the farm there, which is just kind of setting up for this Baron that Team A is looking at a pretty good position to take anytime they want.
Overall, though, big shutdown off of that Ahri going on to Victor is a sign of life for PTP as they look towards Jaffe. This is going to be tough.
But unfortunately, Sundra doesn't have a sign of life at all, so he gets taken down almost immediately.
Oh, no!
Tristana ult saves Jaffe, knocking him over the wall.
Oh, it's so tragic. It's 4 versus 1. The Fiora gets one and gets escorted to safety. Pulling the trigger a little too early on that one. I'm very surprised that Team A haven't just turned a Baron at that point once you see the 4-man group bot lane, but they have a complete stranglehold on this game. They can play it at exactly the pace they want to, and the safer they play it, the less likely they are to lose, so I don't blame them.
So that is something to take a note of here. Do we think that some of these plays that they've been making, avoiding taking dragons, going for the turrets earlier in the game, not taking Baron buff after they've gotten a couple of these picks, is that a sign that their shot calling is choosing not to go for these objectives? Or is it just they're not noticing they're able to take those objectives? It'll be interesting to see how that ends up playing out over the course of this entire Season 6.
If I had to guess, the jungler XT is making most of the shot calls here, and on Karthus, you're so content to ride it out to 6 items that you don't care at what time this game ends. You don't care if it ends at 70 minutes into the game, you don't care if it ends in 2 seconds. What matters is that you get the victory, and you're going to do that by Karthus just accruing more and more of these items, shredding these teams. I mean, at some point, right, if Requiem is already doing half of Tristana's health bar, it's a matter of time till it does 90% of Tristana's health bar, and when that happens, it's not a winnable game.
I think I know a few people who might have a few complaints about a 70-minute game, but just you're not entirely wrong at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they don't, and I don't think it will go that long. I think push will come to shove at the Elder Drake when there's sort of no beating around the bush about that one being spawned. And at some point, right, can just force onto an objective, and PTP have to either trade, which is perfectly fine with, or when you're 23-12,
you don't mind taking those fights that are just slightly suboptimal.
Exactly, and Mountain Soul Point also for Team A right now. They are looking towards getting those shields on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to make it oh so difficult.
Once those shields are online, it is going to basically be impossible to start damaging the health bars on this team, which is just, it's terrifying when you see an Ahri dashing around you and she just has a 300 health shield and there's nothing you do, and a Rakan is just jumping on her multiple times to shield her up even more. That it's like, you can't hurt it at all.
Yeah. In the meantime, though, from the side of PTP, the Victor has been getting more farm. The Tristana has been getting more farm. They're starting to complete the third item in their builds. That does mean they are going to have some decent damage output. Orin finally able to finish that Thorn Mail. Sejuani in the jungle.
Oh, look at the damage from that Vital push. That is half of an Orin health bar in 2 Vitals.
Yeah, and there's the Baron, right? They saw 3 people go to the bot lane. They're instantly going to start it up. Team A has 4 people here. Demaz looking to go over the wall and stop the steal. They have the ward coverage. No chance.
They don't have the CC coverage, though, as unfortunately Ganondorf is knocked up, and that means that the Baron is going to go over to the side of A, which is just going to make this Fiora push an inevitable death sentence for this base. That is going to be 1 inhibitor down. We're going to be seeing a push in on the 2nd inhibitor here momentarily. Just look at this. We got 4 people tracing up this Fiora now. Jaffy's probably going to be able to get out fairly easily. Let's see how much damage this does.
Oh my god!
The health bar on Let's Do Vanal is already gone from 1 Requiem as they set up for this push. We've got the TP coming down as Rakan has joined them here, and they're basically just kind of choking the life out of PTP at the moment, which a lot of people have felt laning against a Teemo.
Yeah, so, Charm over the wall is going to find Ganondorf's. Not for too much, though. Kind of more of just go back to that fountain. Sort of poke, and it's really going to be a matter of getting Jaffe set back up on these side lanes. For now, the sort of 5-man strong PTP have been able to hold off versus 4, and these Baron waves keep middle inhibitor alive. But once Jaffe's back on the map, you have to split your attention, and that's when things are going to go awry.
Look at this, Rare Adam getting jumped on top of by the Sejuani and the Brawl. That it's a double set of stuns with those concussive blows and the permafrost, but unfortunately not able to get enough hits on there to get either one of them off. We are seeing now there are literally no inhibitor turrets on the side of PTP. We see that Sejuani's going to get caught out, knocked up. Call of the Forge God's going to come out, but unfortunately it's only going to find 1 target. We are going to see Proteus take XT down, which is going to be huge. Let's do Vano looking for the reset dives and way too deep laning inside of the Karthus W. Means that they're just going to get completely shredded by all of that death damage. Like, the death magic is just too much for them to handle. And then we're going to be seeing this final inhibitor. It's just kind of like, it's taking damage from these 2 cannon minions that are Baron buffs. There's nothing that PTP can do to contest this as Jaffe goes in, has a field day, whacking everybody, hitting all those vital points, just getting so much damage off in so little time. That is 3 inhibitors down. Baron buffs are still in play, and this is just kind of the death knell for PTP.
Yeah, it's really hard for them to defend at this point. They don't have any cooldowns on their side except for a couple flashes. Vanal jumping deep into the Karthus passive is not gonna get it done. It's gonna get you killed really fast, actually, as all the members of Team A were able to turn and just delete the Tristana instantly. And Vanal is really the one that has that damage out.
Are you getting a little bit too spicy for your own britches? We do see the nice riposte to block some of that damage. The permafrost does end up going away. Requiem comes out. Look at that final proc as they go in off of that Requiem damage. Tatas is trying to stay alive as well, but is not quite able to. Sejuani just has to run away, and unfortunately the Fiora is just living under these turrets, basically trying to dive the fountain at this point. Look at that. There is nothing they can do to stop this Fiora. She's just dancing around them. All of that water walking, triple knockups coming out right there. We're finally starting to see some damage come out, but so many resistances from this dragon. The parry block to stun. The riposte finds the target. We've got the redemption coming out once again. I swear these teams are trying to make me lose my voice in game 1. They're getting so close to it as the fight is once again continuing. Rakan diving in on there. The Nexus is exposed. There is nothing PTP can do. They are putting up one final fight, finding whatever they can. XT taking down Ganondorf. Let's Do Vanal manages to take down XT, but that is going to be a double kill for the Karthus before the final explosion. And what an exciting end to Game 1 of Friend or Foe Series Season 6.
Man, PTP were holding on for those first 15, 18 minutes of the game, going toe-to-toe with Team A in terms of those objectives, in terms of getting those ganks. Overall, though, Jaffe, monstrous Fiora performance, scaled throughout the game, always had the number of Tadeas in that top side, and that just meant they got to walk all over the map.
Yep, and what a walk over that map it was. It was like watching Alucard going for a walk. There was nothing you could do to stop it. It's just so much death coming out. Really exciting showing for Team A. Great to see them kind of come out and make a name for themselves in Friend or Foe Season 6. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in their next set of games. And I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get interviews because of those spectator delays.
No, we're not getting interviews.
And we were unable to get those interviews, which is a little unfortunate, but at the same time, it does mean that we're going to be moving into the next game, which is going to be really exciting, as we've got Team Wet versus the returning team in the trees, which I am excited to see. Those guys are some Friend or Foe staples.
For sure, and in the meantime, make sure to check out the FOF Connect. It's going to give you the breakdown on this upcoming game so you can be ahead of us when it comes to figuring out what we're talking about in that champion select. But until then, don't go anywhere.